Hey everyone, welcome to ABCD's very first podcast, and today we'll be talking about ABCD. Good to have this amazing young man here with me in the studio. It's exciting that we actually were able to do this.
Yeah.
So what are we doing, guys? What are we doing today?
It's gonna be fun, and it's going to be just talking about ABCD, how far we've come,
Right.
And yeah, just
Nice. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my guests in the studio today. On my far right, I have
Otto Peter.
and then
Gino Osahon.
the legendary Gino Osaho. If you know who this person is, then you know how important this podcast is. So I'll start by introducing what ABCD is.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and from the Cardano community, especially, you already know me, and then I don't have to explain to you what I'm doing in ABCD because I literally founded the whole thing. ABCD is African Blockchain Center for Developers. That's what it is, right? It's a center for developers, a hub where we incubate, talent within Africa and give them the tools and training and skills needed for them to continue their blockchain dreams. And, this is going to allow them to explore the blockchain scene, which will inevitably give them the necessary tools to build startups, build ideas, and cool stuff for Africa, right?
Yeah.
So, why we did ABCD? Well, there was no ABCD before we did it. And we actually, the team at ABCD, we saw there was a need for, blockchain skills and development within Africa because it was lacking. There's a lot of developers that were not exploring the blockchain scene.
Yeah.
And we saw a void there. We wanted to fill it up.
Yeah.
I originally wasn't a developer, but, I saw a need and I really wanted to fulfill it and, fill that need. And that's why we created ABCD. So can you guys give me, maybe any of you can just give me your background, what you guys do, how you guys came about development, and, how you came about ABCD as well.
Yeah.
Sure, anyone can go.
Okay. You want to
Maybe I'll just wait for Gino to give me a template.
Come on.
Okay, anyway, basically I've always loved technology, holistically, and then I did my first degree was in electrical and electronics engineering, and so I first of all picked up a skill in embedded systems. So I was doing everything about Arduino programming, hardware programming, and all that. So I did that for a while, but I like things that are very challenge. So, but I didn't see it as being challenging enough. So I also decided to also venture into the web space. So I was doing HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a bit of PHP for a while. Then it's just very recently I also saw the innovation in the blockchain space, and then I was very interested in this could actually be the future. And Africa actually joined Web 2, the internet age, very late. And so it was wow, this is something that can actually give us an advantage as a continent to actually catch up with the rest of the world, and it's very nascent. So I was and of course, as I said earlier, I like things that are very challenging, things that are new and all that. So it was very fulfilling for me to just hop into the space, and it's been amazing. And ABCD has actually really made that journey very fluid for me.
Yeah. So you made mention of you being in the electronic department, so to say, and then you transitioned to blockchain.
Yeah.
So how was that transition like for you, and how did you come about ABCD?
Okay. So basically, technology, the fundamentals are always very kind of universal. Just like, let's say, mathematics. So even though you're solving calculus, sort, there's always addition, multiply, divide. So I did web for a while, and then the blockchain space actually, in fact, if you already have knowledge of web or other legacy technologies, it's actually easier to just port it to the blockchain space. The only thing is just that you now need to learn a new set of languages and tools and all that. So I actually came into ABCD, I got the information from someone who was very close to the team. So she sent me a link, and I was okay, this is actually something I'm very passionate about. It's one thing to actually want to learn something,
Right.
but then knowing where to go to
Right.
actually get the needed learning. And I think that's what is really lacking in Africa. And ABCD was like wanting something and just being very fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time and to meet the right person. So that's how ABCD actually came into the picture.
It's awesome because this is actually what we wanted to do. We knew that there was a huge pool of talent in Africa exploring Web 2, right? 2.0, building, sites, and some of them are even working for like Silicon Valley companies, right?
Yeah.
There's a huge pool
Very good guys.
of talents down here. But we didn't see a lot of people exploring, blockchain technology. I was in the space. I was not a developer, but I saw a lot of opportunities. I saw that blockchain is literally built for Africa. If you look at it, right? Because it's almost everything can be onboarded on blockchain. Not everything though, but a lot of stuff can be onboarded on blockchain technology, and it work better and make people's life easier. But the developers, who are the people that are actually going to build these tools for Africa, are not even having conversations about blockchain technology. And that was a huge gap, and we needed to fill it up. So hearing that there was interest from you prior to that time, and you finding us, it's success for us. And this kind of story I would like to hear. Sure. I'm really happy that you're on board with us. Yeah. So Gino, what's up?
Yes, nice one. That was a very good one, Peter. Thank you for giving me the template. So my name is Gino Sahon again. Currently, I work as a developer advocate for ABCD. Okay, and what that means is that I help to plan activities. I help to design, plan, implement, monitor, and also report ABCD activities. It's been an interesting journey since I joined ABCD. Okay, I'll just give you a little bit about my background. It's always like a story, I like, telling stories, like using stories to describe situations. So, back in 2010, after I finished studying software engineering, I was very curious. Okay, I wanted to explore more beyond what we were being taught in school, and so I wanted to connect with other like minds, like other fellow classmates, and once you graduate, everybody goes, there are different ways, and I was left alone, and in this situation where I wanted help, and there was nowhere to get help, because developers were scattered everywhere. I didn't know where developers were in my city. So I identified a problem, which was there was no place where I could go and find developers that could help me. That could help me out when I'm having issues like, having bugs in my codes, or just even wanting to connect with like minds. There was no such place. So I went on the internet, thank God to the internet, and I was, surfing the internet looking for who can help, with my bugs and all that. I was on Stack Overflow. I was also seeing TechCrunch, I was even commenting on TechCrunch's post, and I was like, hey guys, when are you guys coming to Africa or Nigeria? It's so funny because some years back, when the first time TechCrunch came to Nigeria, they were like, Facebook brought TechCrunch to Nigeria. I was invited to that event. So it was like fulfilling because I was, asking them, when are you guys coming? And after some years, that was able to happen. So in my search on the internet, looking for who to connect with, looking for community to be part of, I discovered that there was groups like the Google Developer Group. Okay. And you had Oracle Java user group at the time. And I noticed that these groups were not in my city, which was Port Harcourt at the time. Right. And we had it, I think then in Lagos, there was GDG Lagos and I think GDG Uyo. So I immediately connected with the lead for GDG Uyo. I didn't know him before now, but I just Googled his name. I saw that he was doing some activities and I was very, very interested. I was very, very happy to find out that there was such a community, where you can go to and have access to resources, meet like minds, and all that. So I called him up, chatted with him. And after then, he invited me for one of their meetups. I had to leave Port Harcourt, and attended that meetup, and it was mind blowing. And we had nothing like that in Port Harcourt. So instead of me going to Uyo or Lagos or some other states for meetups, I decided, hey, why don't we start something like this in my city, Port Harcourt, since there was nothing like that. And so that was how I, wrote to Google and told them that it would be good to have their chapter here, the GDG chapter in Port Harcourt. And I was recommended by my mentor. I call him my mentor in Uyo. And, my application went through because they saw my profile and I already had good technical background, and they were like, okay. So that was how we started the first community. I would call it the first developer community in my city, because there was none at the time. I know we had some groups in Uniport, but that was just restricted to the school, and they weren't that how will I say it, organized. So we started GDG Port Harcourt, which is Google Developer Group, and we started creating awareness around technologies. We started, getting people that are interested in software development to come to a place. And so what we were doing was, we look at Google technologies most of the time. You can't give what you don't have. So we as leaders, what we were doing was, we have to look at Google materials, look at their documentation sites, and they were having great resources on most of their technologies, like Android, Flutter, a lot of their technologies. So we will go learn these technologies, and we'll now hold meetups where we teach these technologies. So before then, I was already a web developer, and it got to a point, you had so many web developers everywhere in the city, and at that point, sometimes you say build your website for 20K. So that was very discouraging for me. I thought of moving up the food chain. And I picked up the Android application development because I was already good in Java then. So I started building Android apps and building the community. It was the foundation, and you know how foundations are. They are very important in anything you want to build that will sustain. So there was so much, sacrifice, work, and trying to build the community right from the scratch. Yeah. So we had to hold meetups like once or twice in a month. And at this meetup, like before you knew it, like I started seeing like minds, like people that were like me, who were doing the same thing. People, I could be around these people and we could be free and we'll laugh and talk, connect and all that. And the community started growing naturally. Okay. And you started seeing developers who were now interested in learning a particular Google technology and looking at how they can build softwares or startups using these technologies. So it was my duty at that point to bridge the gap between Google and my community members. So what I was doing was, I bring Google technologies to these people, and if they have feedbacks, if they are having challenges, I take those challenges also back to Google. Right. So I was like bridging that gap between an international technology company and my people. And before you know, we started putting ourselves on the map because we started participating in hackathons. We started, organizing amazing events. I remember there was this event we held in 2016. It was called DevFest. And at that event, we were able to bring 1,000 developers, designers, entrepreneurs, people that are interested in technology. We were able to bring them to Port Harcourt. It was an event that was organized by all GDGs in the region, but I was opportune to be the host that time. So we brought that event to Port Harcourt, and, that event changed the whole thing about the tech industry in Port Harcourt because we created so much awareness. Imagine 1,000, like minds being together for 2 days straight. People coming from, all the Niger, I think it was southeast then, southeast regions. So people got to see that, wow, there are other people doing this in other city, and we were able to build that network of developers. Yeah. So, and from there, you started, other communities came out. You started seeing, we had things like Facebook developer group. We had the Andela learning community. We had the Oracle Java user group. And before you know, there was so much attention because the attention of Google was drawn to Port Harcourt because some students and people were using and practicing their technology. Facebook also came in and, and the ecosystem, there was now, like, people now had a sense of, like, I am part of this community, okay, and it's an international community, and we learn great stuff. So what I was doing in the community there was telling them, look, what we are giving you is in the community is the same thing that the community is also giving to developers in China, Japan, and everywhere from around the world. So if you acquire these skills, you will be able to build great startups and also be able to do remote work. I remember I was preaching this remote work very, very well then. And it's so funny to, say that, about 2 weeks ago, I was at, Tech Week and I was giving a report that we have about like 10 people from the community actually doing remote jobs and making good money for themselves. Wow. That was really satisfying to me because that was what I've been championing, And, in Port Harcourt now, you also have people building startups, a lot of young people, becoming aware that when they learn technology, they'll be able to use it to put food on their table to make themselves relevant. So it's been an amazing experience, and it's been so awesome watching how we grow, okay, naturally, and things are beginning to happen. You have startups now in Port Harcourt. You have, great developers, world-class developers in Port Harcourt. And, I'm also very futuristic about technology, because I've dabbled from web into Android. I left Android into backend, okay, and I also did IoT, programming using Arduino and some of these stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I got to find out that blockchain was a futuristic technology, meaning it was a technology that was going to be there for a long time. And, I don't know what happened, but, I came in contact with this, my great guy over here. And, he talked about his passion for blockchain technology. And, Africa has a lot of challenges, and I see blockchain as, a technology that we can use to provide, because Africa is really, really centralized in everything we do. So, and if you know about blockchain and its decentralization, it's the best way to go. So that was how, I jumped on the ABCD. Initially, I just wanted to help out, okay, because I know it was something that was relevant and it was solving the problem. So I just wanted to help out, but I got hooked and, got more involved. Yeah, I think that's so much. That's been so much, but it's always good to
quite
share.
Insightful.
Yeah.
It's quite insightful. Thank you so much. And then there's some things that Gino doesn't know about me that if I tell him, he'll be shocked.
Really?
But yeah, should I say it now?
You're free, of course.
So,
me too.
When I got into tech, I didn't just start out as like an enthusiast and just studied and just left it. I actually went to Kinsari Wahal. And Gina has met me, but he doesn't remember.
I think I'm trying to like
picture
where I've
so
seen
what happened
you.
was in 2017, right, when I was really, really into tech.
Yeah.
I got into tech full time, right? I wanted to code. I wanted to write codes. And there was this, I think it was GDG in 2017, somewhere around October or so. And you're looking at me, but you don't know you know me.
Like when I saw you today, I was like, we'll be working remotely, but I knew I'd seen this.
Yeah,
this face video.
So I went to Meetup platform. They had their there was an ad there for the event, and I signed up and I reached out to him privately on the Meetup platform. I messaged him like, hey, how do I locate this place? When is it happening? He's like, yeah, it's happening. It was very helpful. Like really, and it was really, really helpful. Yeah. And he directed me. I got there. I said hello to him. I was the one who was contacting him. Yeah. Had lots of people there. I think some guy was talking about Sugar Labs. Samsung. Yeah. So it was a lot of things going on there. I was like, I didn't know there was a tech community in Port Harcourt. It was very welcoming, and had, like you said, like-minded people were there talking about things they're building. And I think we're doing Android.
Study jams.
Yeah, Android study. This guy, I forgot his name. He started doing Android Roadshow from 2017.
Okay.
I forgot his name. He was doing Android Roadshow. He was a bit chubby.
Is he a Port Harcourt developer?
Yeah.
Is it Bruce?
No, it's not Bruce. Bruce is
Lotus Square.
Lotus Square. I went to Lotus Square too. He doesn't even know me. But the point is, I've been lurking around. I see your activities. I went to you remember the library behind?
Yeah, the pleasure park.
Pleasure park.
Yeah.
I think they had an event there, for Loop event.
Yeah.
For Loop event. I was there too.
Really?
I saw code. All the developers from Lagos.
Yeah.
All the celebrities from Lagos. I used to see on Twitter. I'm like,
Prosper
was there.
Yeah.
I was like, you're the famous guy. I was looking at them like celebrities. Like, okay, these are all the celebs in Nigeria that are building.
To an extent.
So I was very excited to be there. I joined the meetup. I stayed to the end because of excitement. I didn't know what to code. I was doing HTML and C++, where people were doing really cool stuff and building apps. I was feeling like a developer, right? But I quickly dropped out because the inspiration wasn't there. To be honest, the money wasn't there. And I said, let me go get some money and then I'll be back in this scene. So we've met before in the past life, we just didn't know.
Awesome. At that For-Loop event, I was the one handling registration. They had to put me on the registration deck,
outside of the
outside of the hall. So I was the one, like, when you come in, I take down your information.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, there was that, and
it was an interesting experience.
Really interesting. So you made mention of something. Having to group all these people where we have like-minded people to share and interact and exchange the energy just to keep up the motivation, right? I wanted to ask, what do you think? Because a lot of people can learn remotely, just the way they can work remotely. Can you explain what is, maybe in your own understanding, what is how vital it is to have a center or a hub where we have like-minded people? If I can learn on my own, why do I have to come to a meetup? Why do I have to meet people? Okay. Anyone can go. But.
Yeah. So prior to joining ABCD, I led a Google student community on campus for a year, and for me it was a very amazing experience. Trying to pull different students from different departments on campus and helping them to build their tech skills and all that. And one of the things I learned was it's easier to have virtual meetings and all that, but there's a different energy and motivation that actually comes with meeting people.
Right.
Seeing guys build stuff, actually physically having the opportunity to actually talk with them. There's just something about it. And I feel currently there's been this recent ideology of workspaces, what we see, this guy talked about, the CEO of Google, about hybrid workspaces. So while everyone is saying, let's all go remote, they're like, some days you can actually come to the workspace because there's this motivation. We're actually meeting people, seeing them, and it's just very different from being remote. Remote, it's we still have a long way to go with this perception with seeing people on the screen. It doesn't really feel very tangible and real yet. So that's why it's very important to have a space. And also, sometimes, it's easier to really understand what you want when you actually try it out.
Right.
For instance, you could feel I really want to be a web developer. If I develop for the web space, it's really something lucrative for the future and all that. But when you get to a hub or a space where you have different minds and get to interact with them, you get knowledge that you can't find on Google or on YouTube. Sometimes one of the things that keeps some learners or some beginners in the loop is which programming language, for instance, is the most, we ask that kind of question, you keep asking that question, but when you speak with people who have been in the industry, face off, you find out that there's some stuff you can't easily find on Google that you'd easily get from people in a personal interaction. So that's why it's very important to actually have those kind of communities and a place for learners to collaborate.
So there's always a need for a fellowship of developers.
Very important. Yeah. It's important. I know, this is what we've been used to, like having physical meetup, and just to show some sense of humor. You can't have jollof rice, when you're doing a virtual meeting, yeah. So swags too, like a lot of people will just be like, a lot of people like. So I agree with what Otobong has said. There is something about physical meetup. Okay, there's that connection when you see someone. Okay, live at an event. Maybe it's been long, maybe like a month or so since you've seen the person, and when you see the person. So what I'm trying to say is that networking is limited virtually. Networking among members, which is very, very important, because a lot of people, when they go to meetups, they want to meet new people.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a front-end developer, you want to meet a back-end developer, and you want to share what you're working on, and you want to tell them what you're working on. Developers, like, most of the time it's intimidating when you go to developer meetups and you hear this one talking about, hey, I'm building this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, it's actually cool because it motivates other members. True. Okay, and it gives an opportunity for you to find partners. Now, this is very, very important. Okay, there are some people, their life changed when they went to just one meetup. Okay, they met just one person, maybe a co-founder. They met their co-founder. True. Some of them just attending a meetup, they get a job. Yeah. Because most of the time meetups is a mix of developers, entrepreneurs, and other stakeholders. There are people who come to meetups just to look for developers that can work on their projects.
Right.
There are people who come to meetups. A lot of things happened, in the community, and even, you could even find your partner in a physical meetup. You never know.
Where did you find your partner?
Instead of something
we don't know.
No, trust me. My partner, it's not even into tech. It's weird because, everybody was thinking I was going to end up with, because like tech guys, people who do tech to the extreme, they are some kind of weird, and yeah. So it's good to find, like, it's very hard to find somebody that will understand you for who you are, and when you are so much in love with your computer, she will also understand, because she knows that's where the money comes from, and all that. So, but mine was just, I think it was what was supposed to happen. But she's not a techie, but she's my number one fan, And then when it comes to tech, so physical meetup, you can't take. There are some things you gain from attending physical meetup that you can't find in virtual meetup. So I think I will go with the idea of the hybrid system, where you have physical meetups maybe once in a month, and you have virtual meetups to follow up. You can have the Slack communities and other communities online where you connect with people, but it is always
once in a while.
Yeah, it's always once in a while for everybody to come together, shake hands, do group pictures. These things are very, very important. Trust me. Take group pictures, and connect with people. I'm very, very particular about that connection, because you never know who you're going to meet in that meetup. And one thing I've also discovered is that, when people go for meetup, you don't underrate anybody, because I've seen people who just come for meetups building companies, great companies. I've seen people from meetups becoming employees at Google and Facebook and all this. So it's a good opportunity to connect with people, because you never know where you're going to find yourself tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, and I think it was also very instrumental to like my journey ABCD, because it was through our Google community on campus.
Okay.
I saw someone who had so much passion about the blockchain space, and I was like, "What's this stuff all about?" And she's like, because all my idea about the blockchain was like crypto.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel that's what some people still think.
Yeah, so that was one thing that stopped me from coming into blockchain very early, because I that crypto, it's about
a scam, or
So, but I was interested, like I wanted to know the platform, the underlying platform.
Technology.
Yeah, technology. That was pioneering this because
That's what got me interested.
Yeah, a lot of people confuse Bitcoin for blockchain. So Bitcoin is just one of the applications, or the first application that that gave so much awareness to blockchain.
Yeah, totally. When I got into blockchain, initially it was crypto, right? I was one of those people that liked the Bitcoin rise. I'm not gonna lie, it was rising. I'm like, this stuff is interesting. But then again,
everyone still likes it
because I was a tech enthusiast.
Yeah,
I also wanted to know what is powering this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then when you fall into that rabbit hole, that's it. You're not coming back unless you don't like tech, because it's so fascinating.
Yeah, exactly.
The possibilities and the potential this technology holds, especially when you are living in a place that you can see like solutions that are going to get built on this tech, and it's going to curb like current situation that you're facing. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But
sure,
the reason we created ABCD is to house developers. Is to train developers so that they can build solutions that are bespoke to Africa, and also be useful and fill up the gap, that we have in the developer deficit we have worldwide, right? We wanted to make sure they're developers that actually build for the world and not just Africa.
Yeah.
But Africa is the starting point, is our pilot, right? What are the activities? What happens in ABCD?
Okay, maybe I should do some level of justice to that. So one of the things we were able to do from the inception of ABCD was to design some activities. Okay, and so we designed activities and we've been implementing them and trying to report and get feedback. So ABCD, we have different activities, and the one I'm most proud of, it's our current partnership with Inaugural Academy. Okay, so we're able to go into a partnership with Inaugural Academy to train African developers on world-class blockchain development skills. I mean, it's an amazing program because just imagine you are getting the knowledge or the skills from like a powerhouse or a champion of a platform, because Emogu, it's a co-founder of the Cardano platform, and they have so much knowledge around blockchain. So that program is amazing. We currently have we registered 14 developers to go into the program, and we have about 12 now that are still on the program, still on course. Okay, and for about 4 months,
around let's just say June.
Yeah, for about 4 or 5 months now, we've been having lectures. So what this program is we were enrolled into. It's a paid program. Okay, it's a paid program. ABCD had to, sacrifice that money because that is what ABCD is about. Giving African developers opportunity, to play in the international stage. So, we were enrolled into the foundation or fundamentals of blockchain, foundations of blockchain module. We were enrolled also on the Ethereum Developer Associate module, and also the Ethereum Developer Professional module. We are currently done. We are currently done with the first 2 modules, and we're doing we're getting into the 3rd module, which is the Ethereum Developer Professional. I mean, this is just one activity, and it's been going great. I am also part of the program, because you can't give what you don't have. You need to also learn. So that's why I'm part of the learning process, where I can advocate better for the community. So that's just one of the activities. We also now, ABCD has grown to, like, on our Meetup page, we are about 200.
Over 200.
Yeah, over 200. And so it's not just the developers going through the Emogo program that we have. We have a broader community also. So what we are doing with that community is to engage them also, to also create activities for them. So we hold virtual meetups, once in a month, where we bring the whole community together, and we provide contents like great speaker sessions and resources on blockchain to these people. We are going to be recruiting students into subsequent cohort of that our training program, because that is one of the ways ABCD is able to validate our developers. We get them to go through an intensive program, okay, so that they are equipped with skills before they go out into the market. So we also have these community meetups. We also have other activities like podcasting, okay, and Twitter Space calls, and
Discord.
Yeah. So am I missing any other activity? Yeah. So I think yeah,
that's basically it.
Yeah. So we are also in the process of designing more outreach program, more activities. Because it's a community. ABC is actually a community made up of people.
Yep.
We are because we have been able to identify the fact that there's a loophole in the knowledge gap. Like Africans don't have this blockchain. Blockchain is something amazing, and like what Joshua would say, it was built for Africa. It's as if it was built for Africa. Yeah. So, but we don't have a lot of developers playing in the blockchain space. So, so we are looking at how we can, build this from the ground up. Okay. So I'm having some designs, some activities which I would suggest, some outreach programs. So maybe we can go to universities, to talk about blockchain. Yeah. We can also
campus communities.
Campus communities, and we can also see how we can also create awareness, using the Catching Them Young campaign. Where we can also go to primary schools to talk about blockchain, and So those are some of the activities.
Sounds good. I was going to ask you where you see ABCD in 5 years, but
so he was already speeding.
Yeah,
so you can just continue.
You can just continue. I mean, where do you see that in 5 years? If we continue at this pace, or maybe an increased pace, in 5 years, what do you think is going to happen to like the developer community, the blockchain developer community? In 5 years.
Yeah. So
what do you hope to see? Hold on, it's a multifaceted question. What do you hope to see? Do you think in 5 years we'll have, unicorn projects? Do you think we're gonna have a larger community, say 1 million people, 1 million developers? Because we have 1 million developers in Africa, correct?
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to be onboarded on the blockchain ecosystem and start, learning and building? What do you see the blockchain scene for Africa in 5 years?
Yeah, so there is one pattern that I've seen, like over and over happening in Nigeria. Okay, I'm going to kind of digress a little. Mm-hmm. In Nigeria, the Nigerian youth, a typical Nigerian youth, okay, anything you push and you create so much awareness around it, okay, you see a lot of the youth tend to be attracted to that stuff. I'll give you some examples, maybe not so good examples, but for example, there's this stuff about fraud and Yahoo guys, going on in Nigeria. So like these kind of people are beginning to be adorned, like they're beginning to be like, people look at them and say, glorified. Yeah, that's the right word. People look at them and begin to say, this is the way to live and all that, and you start seeing the youth thinking that is actually the way. Okay. Now, onto politics too. Our politicians, people, a lot of our politicians are not accountable. They are not transparent. And, and the youth begin to see them like, when you get into politics, you blow up. That's how you can make so much money. So a lot of them tend to start, joining political parties, not for the right reasons, just because because people are telling them the way to make money right now in Nigeria is politics. Yeah. Okay. You can also bring it down to, in Nigeria, there's this belief that if you are stubborn headed and, if you carry guns, if you go to the government and shake their gate and all that, they give you money and all that, and you start seeing youth, try to become tough to try to, so there's this trend where whatever you push to the young people in Africa or in Nigeria, like they run to it. So what I'm saying is that if we can push technology as a way forward, if we can have role models, if we can have successful technology people, just like what the Paystack and Andela, these guys, once we start having this awareness that, hey, like, did you hear about that tech company that just got $100 million funding? Yeah. Or there was this guy that got a remote job that is earning $1 million. There's this guy. Once we start creating awareness around all these things and pushing it, it will attract the youth to that stuff. So that's why it's important that we preach the right gospel, or push the right things to the youth. So where I see ABCD in 5 years, I see ABCD as positioning itself to be a major stakeholder. Like, we have the technology ecosystem, we have the blockchain ecosystem, and currently Africa is not playing in that front very well. Africa is not like showing itself as a good. So I see ABCD as that organization from Africa that will position itself as a stakeholder. Right. What that means is that you can speak in the international blockchain ecosystem from Africa. And I see ABCD creating developers that will go on and build unicorns. Okay, let me put it that way. Yeah, because I see ABCD, I feel it that some of our developers are going to create unicorn in 5 years. 5 years is long, and that technology evolves like every day, rapidly. Fast, yeah, so ABCD is going to be a strategic player in the blockchain ecosystem in Africa and internationally around the world. And ABCD is also going to create amazing world-class developers. Okay, not every ABCD member, but you're going to have some of these people that will do amazing stuff from ABCD in 5 years.
Incredible. Wow. I want to be in 5 years already. This is incredible.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So, at ABCD, thankfully, for those who are watching, if you're listening to this podcast, these particular set of people are actually working internally at ABCD. So these are ABCD powerhouses, and so strong team member that we work together to facilitate the activities at ABCD. But more importantly, we provide services. Although we're still going through training, but there are services that ABCD is, there's some projections we have, things we want to do once we have the devs trained, and once we have the community is full of talents that have been trained and skills. So do you want to talk about these services?
Josh, are you even going to? Okay, you are like the one.
I'm moderating. You are talking.
Okay, so it's one thing to train developers. Then after that, what next? Okay, so I also see ABC. One of the things ABCD is going to be doing, it's not just training developers, not just putting meetups together, not just providing resources. We are going to try to connect the entire pipeline.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a pipeline. From the training, like the inception, the bringing of the people together, the connecting them to learning platforms and all that. Most of the time, like I have about 7 years experience working with international developer and startup communities, and most of the time these champions, these great tech companies fail to connect the dots. They fail to like they just do it like halfway and that's it. It's some people say it's just I see it as it's supposed to be a win-win situation, both for the company and also for the people learning the technology. But some people believe it's just a win because you get to create awareness around their technology and get people to be practicing it. And after then, what? So, one thing ABCD is trying to do is to create a full circle, where after getting these people, after equipping them with this is what next. And so we are looking at providing opportunities for anybody that goes through our program. Okay, we owe that person. It's not like it's a must, okay, but we have it in our mind that it is our responsibility to provide the next step for these people, because you can't equip them and just let them go. So we are looking at ways that we can engage them after they've learned.
Mhm.
Okay. So not just in only providing internship opportunities, projects to work on, job opportunities. Okay. But we are also going to plug them back into the system. Okay. Because freely you were giving, like, I don't know how to put that, phrase, but like you were giving something,
An opportunity.
an opportunity, you should also give other people opportunities. So it's going to go full circle. Okay. We're looking at providing opportunities, internship, connecting them to projects, to startups. Then if you also, because for developers, it's two ways. It's either you learn and you get a good job, okay, or you build something. Yeah. Africa has, Nigeria, or let me say Africa is plagued with challenges, but trust me, like, for every challenge, there's a solution. For every problem, there's a solution.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we are able to incubate these people, provide them with the basic knowledge that they need, trust me, they'll be able to build solutions. So while we are looking out for job opportunities, internship opportunities, we will also be creating pre-incubation and incubation activities, to also support those who want to go the startup way. And for me personally, that's very important because that's how we can build unicorns. That's how we can employ people. Okay. And that's how we can be solving problems. So, ABCD is also going to create activities for people who want to go into startups, and will also provide recruitment opportunities for people. And we will also keep improving the community, growing the community. Okay. You asked about where do I see ABCD in 5
on the
years?
services.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to draw ABCD. It's also going to create chapters, if it's possible, on, in every city or state in the region. So, our services include like trainings. Okay. We also are looking at engaging the government because, whatever you're doing, you need to get the government guys to be on your side. So we're also looking at engaging with government to educate them on the opportunities presented by blockchain and some of this, maybe Joshua can chip in some other stuff.
So I'll just try to collapse everything together.
Okay.
What I see ABCD doing the next 5 years, and the kind of community and ecosystem I see across the African continent. So basically, from my own end, I feel it's easier for we have so many Fortune 500 companies like Google, Amazon, and all that. But it's actually difficult for these companies to be able to understand the pain on the continent and to build specifically for the continent.
Right.
They can just easily, just come on the continent and say, okay, we are trying to push our product. But so far, so good, to be honest with ourselves. We've not really seen so much of development on the continent. So there's this famous African proverb that talks about, it's one thing to actually give a man a fish, and it's also another thing for a man to learn how to fish. But someone else also owns the pond. Mm-hmm. So it is one thing, these guys out there, yes, they've when the internet age actually this started, honestly, Africa was left behind, we're in the dust. So what we are trying to see is that we are trying to catch up, and currently in technology globally, if you really check, there are so many African guys doing amazing things, and you imagine that these guys actually entered the space very late. Now imagine if Africa was at that initial early days of the internet, then I'm sure the effect would be really, really massive. So it's not easy for a company outside to just come. The thing is, every business can actually say, yes, it's true, we all want to change the world. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's profit. And it's easier for them to just think about profit and not really change Africa the way it would have been done. So I think for me, ABCD, I see in 5 years, more African guys in the space. If you talk about blockchain globally, not just about Africa, Africans should be leading, because just like what you say, it's just as if the blockchain technology was actually built for Africans.
Yeah, a lot of challenges.
It's giving the average person a voice globally. It's what we are seeing in the blockchain space, like you own your own money, like you actually have assets. This is what you own. And that is what most of us never grew up in Africa really enjoying. Like everything is owned by someone, everything is being controlled. Like even your land, you're not even sure. Someone might just wake up one day and say this land was actually mine, and then just brings out, just because they have access to more resource, money and everything, and then you're just dusted, and then there's just nothing you can do. Right. So I feel like these are the things that the blockchain space can also help. And also, he also talked about communities, you know, and I feel one thing is, like he said, you know, some people wanting to join maybe Yahoo Boys, you know, fraud, join politics or some militancy group. Yeah. There's always an issue for every human being. There's always a need for identity. And there's always a need for identity. And you know, there's this popular, if we have checked Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, after the average person has actually talked about their clothing, food and shelter, they want something more. They want to be identified with something. You want to wake up every day knowing that there's something you are a part of. Yeah. So if we don't build a community like this, it will be difficult for people, because Josh is actually someone I really admire. You know, he has this audacity I really admire to actually build stuff. You know, it's easy to just talk about developers. It's not just about developers. Having the audacity itself to build something is developing. Well, we have the very technical guys who might be coding, but also having that to build a community. And people, someone else might not have that boldness and audacity to build a community, but they would want to be part of what you are building. So I feel like over time it will begin to redefine the paradigm in this space, and then more persons will be part of it, and then across campuses we will be having just like how we have Google developer groups, you know, ABCD, students building from their campus, and there are some stuff like that already happening on campus across the continent. But I feel like with ABCD we can also bring more standardization, because already we also have links to a lot of organizations globally, so we can just merge the space for learning, the opportunity with the resources we have access to, with the people and the networks. So I think all these can actually work together, and then 5 years would really be I feel it's going to beat our imagination.
Right. I mean, think about what will happen in Africa. You know, in 5 years when we have, if there's a unicorn, it means there's employment, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Yes.
So I feel like, you know, community is so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it contributes to, you know, social good and economic rise, right? Yeah. So we have the right kind of community. We'll be doing a lot of good for people, right? Building a better society. So you have a community of developers, a community of dreamers, you know, like we listed down here, dreamers, disruption,
digital
designers. You have all these people come together and talk about, you know, Africa like they've never talked about it before. This is the first time that, you know, power is in our hands, right? Yeah. Because we have the tools in our hands, we have the dreamers, we have the people, because they're networking, right? Yeah. And you know what happens when people come together, you know, and talk about change and are willing to actually implement those change, meeting like-minded people, like you said in the beginning. Yeah. It is so powerful. Yeah. And, you know, that just, you know, leads us to the next conversation. You know, we're just segueing into what we're having this weekend on the 9th of October. So, you want to talk about it, Gino? What are we having on the 9th?
Yeah, so, I am not saying too much, like.
Nah, Peter, go on. Anybody jump on.
Let me do the honors. Right. So on the 9th, we are having our very first inaugural physical meetup. So just like what we said, you know, we've been connecting remotely. Like, we have developers across Nigeria currently. And of course, we said it's African Blockchain Center for Developers. So we are seeing how we can actually collapse Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, the entire continent into one lump of people learning and building for the continent. Yes.
The Africa DAO.
Yeah, exactly. So of course, for us, this is just like, you know, it's just a starting point, like, a tip of the icing of what is going to happen. So on Saturday, the 9th of October, we'll be meeting at the River State ICT Department, Tech Creek. And the goal is to, you know, just like we talked about community, some persons can actually see what we are doing on Twitter. They're like, okay, just follow. But when they actually come to a physical meetup and say, wow, so these guys are actually real.
Yeah.
That means, and then get to understand and ask questions, because there are so much misleading questions online. And for someone who is just entering the space, if you don't know the right questions to ask, it will be difficult to get the right answers. So that's just part of what the physical meetup is all about, to answer those questions and to connect people who would enter the space with people who are already in the space, and to also let them know what ABCD is doing. And some of them might likely go on to join our next cohort. And as we have so many cohorts coming in the future, and for us, it's like we are in the early days, it's like we have this egg, and what we have in mind is a huge poultry, or someone else, or you could also say a seed, but what we have in our mind is a forest. And of course, the best thing we can do is to plant this seed and then allow every single person to also be a part of what we are doing. So that's what Saturday is really about. And for us, it's really amazing to see something begin as a seed, and we've been nursing it, and it's beginning to push out its first seedling. So that's, for us, for me personally also, it's very exciting, because where I see ABCD, it is just massive. It's just massive. And so the physical meetup on Saturday is really going to be an incredible opportunity to let developers in the African space, at least starting from the Port Harcourt region, to know what we are doing. And you could be shocked. Some guys that might join us on Saturday for the physical meetup could be the guys building for cool stuff for the African continent 2 years down the line. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Gino, we're having our inaugural meetup for ABCD in River State. It's an open source community, like we all know. So everybody is allowed to come join and do what they want to do, participate, meet us in person. Like he said, we're real people. Yeah. People don't believe I'm real. People think I'm from the United States. I'm like, okay, I'm real. I'm African.
Yeah, they're going to see you live.
They're going to see me live. You're going to see Otto and Peter live and Gino live. Gino, you've been a pioneer in the tech scene, especially in Port Harcourt and South. You've done countless meetups. You've been at the forefront of these kinds of community building and meetings that not just inspire but also build individuals that are into this the tech scene. What should we expect?
So I think we should expect an interesting time for anybody coming to that event, because one thing about COVID, during COVID, there was no meetups, and if you know developers, a lot of developers they like going to meetups, and because of coronavirus, a lot of people have missed out of meetups. So this is like an opportunity for developers to, let's go chop jollof rice and
and get some
meet up with that girl, and yeah. So we on our side, we have been planning this event. We wanted to host this event a couple of weeks back, but we said no. We needed to plan. We needed more time to plan so that we can execute an impactful, interesting event. Okay, so you should come expecting. And one thing I try to do, when I started hosting meetups and activities, I didn't care so much about the quality of the event or what people are going to gain by coming to an event. At some point, I think I was putting event just for people to just come around. But it got to some level, and for me, every meetup counts. Every amazing things can happen from just one meetup. So I have, I try to design our meetup in such a way that they are very, very impactful. If you come to our meetup, you'll be able to say, okay, it was worth it. Okay. Yeah. So we have designed, we have amazing speakers. Okay. We have amazing speakers that will be talking, that they're very young and vibrant, Nigerians that will be talking. And, we are going to be talking on very interesting topics. So be rest assured that if you attend that meetup, you are going to learn, you are going to connect, okay, meet good people, amazing people, and you are going to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So come with so much expectations because we picked a venue that is central so that people can have access to that place easily. Okay. And we've designed good sessions, okay, entertaining sessions. We even have someone speaking from outside Nigeria, okay. And now this meetup is happening in Port Harcourt, but ABCD is not just Port Harcourt. ABCD started, the idea came from Port Harcourt, but I want you to see ABCD as an African entity. Okay. So we are going to be providing a virtual link so that people can join, because if you look at the name, it's African blockchain, not Port Harcourt, not Nigeria.
And I think some guys online were asking, like, when are you guys coming to Lagos? And we're like, don't worry, we're coming soon.
Yeah, that's one other thing. So ABCD is going to be having physical meetups. We are starting from Port Harcourt. We're going to go to some other cities in Nigeria. We're going to go to some other cities in other countries in Africa. Okay. But it's an idea that came up from Port Harcourt. And just like what Peter said, you plant a seed and it starts growing, and you never know, it grows into a forest,
Totally.
So we are looking at ABCD having meetups in different African countries. And trust me, come with so much enthusiasm because you're going to meet amazing blockchain developers. If you are a startup thinking of building on the blockchain, okay, ABC, this meetup is a place where you can find some developers. And this is a meetup that it will give us an opportunity to showcase our developers. Okay, because our developers going through our program are our speakers. So we are going to be showcasing them to you. We're going to allow you to connect with these people. And, you never know what can help. One thing I believe is that when developers come together, when they meet, trust me, amazing things happen.
Wow. Awesome. So to round everything up, Peter.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask this engineering question. I know you're moderating, but an idea just came to me now. Like, supposing that, let's say in the Port Harcourt and the River State space, that anybody who has met Gino has met like at least 70% of developers in the space. So, like, what will you say is the level of awareness of developers? Like, I know you are on so many groups, WhatsApp, Facebook group. Like, when you talk about the blockchain, like, what's their response? Is there so much response currently?
Yeah, so I think there's still so much work to be done because, like, blockchain is it's a new kind of technology. So there's still so much work to be done in creating that awareness, which is what this meetup is about. We're going to talk about blockchain, the opportunities, and encourage more people. We have amazing developers already in Port Harcourt, but this is just a technology because there's nowhere in Port Harcourt you can go to find blockchain content or community or something, So, and we are creating that. So, there's still so much to be done to get a lot of developers to know the opportunities of blockchain. That is why we are getting our speakers, our developers to speak about it. Okay. Because, like, it's no brainer. Like, if you hear about blockchain, if you understand its, decentralized nature, the security aspect of it, I mean, you would choose blockchain any day over the traditional way of building applications. So we just need to let them know about the opportunities. And blockchain developers at this moment are very few, even in the world, not just globally. So it's an opportunity for people to go in and play in that space.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, who, as a final statement, who are we inviting? Who's expected to come for this event?
Just like we said, it's ABCD, African Blockchain Center 4. And then for me personally, I like to put like a placeholder, like when you're doing some HTML, you can put like a placeholder, and then you're like, this is just our own suggestion. Add your own stuff, So for designers, dreamers, beginners, people who are passionate about seeing Africa leapfrog from where we are to where we ought to be, and just like I said earlier, there's so much opportunities and possibilities with what we can do for the African space compared to, let's say, the developed world. in the developed world, if you have to build, you have to like actually break things.
And
But
there is time, there's room for that.
Like, you have to break things in order to build new things, because like the systems and structures are already very tight and very restricted and everything. Let's say you want to build a new set of building plan. Let's say now that someone discovers a new way of building houses and we want to implement it in a place like New York City. You have to bring down the buildings to build. But Africa has like this nascent field where we can just jump from A to Z, because like we didn't experiment with all this, but we can just catch up with what's happening.
Leapfrogging.
Yeah, just leapfrog from A to B, A to Z rather. Yeah. So I believe the Saturday event is open to people who are just beginners. You don't need to be a techie. Don't be intimidated. We are all learners.
Yeah.
Honestly, we are learners. We are all learning, and 5 years down the line, you would you might be amazed by the kind of stuff you see in the space, and even us would probably also be shocked. So for someone who really wants to build, wants to start a tech career, and then you are like, this blockchain stuff sounds very interesting, you're also invited. For someone who we had a meetup online, and then someone was like that she's a technical writer, and she really wants to have knowledge about the space. So it's not everybody that's going to enter the blockchain space to like code and do stuff like that, but you can actually find where you fit.
Right. So
at least come to gain enough knowledge to find out if this is something you would like to pursue, if it's something you'd love to write about. Someone said, okay, that she's a technical writer. How can she get the knowledge and all that? You are a product manager, product designer, and then you're like, I want to build this product, and then I want to work with a team. What kind of team should I look forward to building? What should my designers know? Because if you are a software developer, we have this problem with recruiters sometimes. You go online and you see a role, and they are like, they mention 15 job descriptions because they don't really know what they're looking for. So being around in this event on Saturday is really going to help you to know if you also want to build a product for the African blockchain space, to know the kind of questions you should ask, what the technology is all about, and what your developers should know, so that you know how to build a team around it. So basically, it's open to every single person.
It's open. I also want to add that, we need, this is like an invitation to stakeholders in the tech ecosystem in Port Harcourt to come out and find out what blockchain is about. So if you are in the government, this is an opportunity for you to come know what blockchain is about. If you are
policymakers, very important.
Yes. And if you are an entrepreneur, you should be at that event so that you see how blockchain can help your business.
Sure.
If in the banking industry, all sectors.
Yeah.
So if you're a tech person in any of these places, you're interested in tech. I think you should be at this event, because you'll be able to.
Because you'll find answers you will see on Google.
You'll be able to connect with like minds and ask questions and build relationships, with the right people.
Awesome. Guys, I think we've come to the end of this show, but this was a wonderful and power-packed first, podcast episode. And, I really want to thank, both of you for making out the time to join this podcast. We've said a whole lot. We've tried to actually encapsulate the whole idea of ABCD. And with that, I think that's the end of episode 1. If you're watching this, don't forget 9th of October 2021. It's our first, inaugural Meetup ABCD, and it's open to everybody. Like we've said, you're interested in blockchain technology, you're a writer, a developer, a dreamer, you have any idea. Your idea could be the next unicorn, right?
You never know,
So don't be timid, don't be shy. Join us on the 9th of October. And for now, say bye.
Cheers, ABCD.